Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller, the podcast. I'm joined by Seth.
Hey, welcome, guys. Thanks for finding us on the internet.
Now, these shows originally aired on Brookings Radio, but now they're all here for your enjoyment. I hope you like it.
There you go. Sit back, enjoy the show, relax. Let us know if you want to see anything on future shows. As we said, this comes out live in the Brookings area, but enjoy this archive episode.
Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Welcome to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. While perusing the beer aisles, you may have noticed a tag on some of the beers claiming it received a 98 or 99 rating. Yep, that's the thing with beer now. Rating beers this week on Beer Untapped.
Well, like every rating system, whether it be movie reviews or car reviews or even college reviews, you really need to find out who you trust and read those reviews.
Seth Cook there from Wooden Legs Brewing of Brookings, he points out that with beer, there's no shortage of ratings and reviews.
Of course, we have the professional reviews. There's a number of websites out there that dedicate themselves to actually taking the time to sit down and review the beer. Some websites even request that you send them a bottle of the beer, and they'll do a review on it. There's blind taste testing, and that, of course, gives you some real analytical feedback on it. But if you're in the world for just more subjective feedback, there's a number of crowdsourced review sites. And these are popular, too.
And those crowdsourced ratings should always be taken with a grain of salt.
Just like any crowdsourced review site, if you look at anything that's reviewed by a number of people, whether, again, that's movies or books or anything else, you always have the chance that, you could find something that the crowd really, really enjoys, and you don't care for it very well. And in the inverse, there may be beers out there that you really care for, and things that you really enjoy that don't catch fire with the review crowd. So there is a lot of power to the just the sheer volume of people that can review on some of these sites. Find out who you trust in reviews and maybe follow along with them.
One thing you'll notice on sites like Rate Beer or Beer Advocate, beers that have intense flavors seem to dominate. So big IPAs and imperial stouts are all over their top 50 or top 100 beers. Also, rarity seems to give beer an extra cachet.
You can't get it very often. Sometimes these big rating review sites maybe artificially inflate the rating. A great example is Heady Topper is a fantastic beer, and if nobody's heard of it, I mean that it's an IPA brewed by a company that dedicates themselves just to one style of beer. And to be fair, it's a very, 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 very good beer, but it is extremely hard to get, wait in line hard to get. And in my opinion, it fits in the top. It fits in the top 10 for IPAs of all time. It's fantastic, but I think we forgo a lot of the other top 9. And sometimes are underinflated just because we can get our hands on some of the other ones.
More on beer ratings when Beer Untapped with Perry Miller continues.
And before we caught sight of the brewery proper, we came to a line of cars 7 miles long, and each one in search of the old Heady Topper. A line of crusaders just creeping along.
Welcome back to Beer Untapped with Perry Miller as we talk beer ratings. There are a few online sites out there that allow for crowdsourced ratings of beer. As we've mentioned, Seth Cook of Wooden Legs Brewing of Brookings says, rely more on your own palate, maybe a few selected reviewers that you respect. And when it comes to the Untapped app, that's really more a social connection than anything.
It's a 5-star system, and it is really ambiguous on what those 5-star are. It's not 5 stars on the hops. It's, and I think they've kept it that way. It is a social, it's just a social giant.
It's easy. It's quick.
Easy, but it's 5 stars based on what? Based against the style, based on your own palate. There's not a real explicit instruction manual. I think what is the most fun about Untapped is the circle of friends you get to make with it. Just like any social network. You add your friends and you get to see, somebody found whatever stout. Or somebody's drinking, we just saw tap in, somebody was drinking one of our beers over at the Knuckle in Sturgis. So that's kind of fun.
So does Seth check out the ratings of the Wooden Legs beers?
We surf them, but it is what it is. We like to know. I've actually used Untappd to track down Cooperage before and find out where my beers were at so I could get my kegs back. Not necessarily. I mean, I appreciate the ratings and feedback as well, but I actually use it as a tool to say, oh yeah, I love it. I sent that keg out to Rapid City and the Independent Ale House has it. I should call them up and make sure I get that back. But I've actually used it to track down kegs before.
That's pretty great, actually. Does it ever influence what you do?
Not necessarily. Although you have a username and stuff, Untappd is a bit anonymous. There's a bit of a layer removed. We do love feedback from people that come into the bar.
Drew Eklund at Brookings Liquor Store says rating and review sites can be a fun and useful tool.
I go off of their 4 major categories when I taste: appearance, smell, taste, and mouthfeel. You know, you can train yourself to look for the subtle differences in a style, you know. The more you do it, the better you get, and it's fun. It's fun to sit down and write up a review.
Here's Seth with the bottom line.
You know, and at the end of the day, don't trust anybody. Just go try them. You know, that with any of the craft beer bars these days, you can come in and try little samples, but, you know, saddle up and try a flight and just find out what you like. Trust yourself.
Now let's check in with Drew and find out what's new at Brookings Liquor Store.
Ferns and Gallivant, an American strong ale, kind of similar to a barley wine, almost. Not quite as heavy. It's lighter and more drinkable, I think. Flavors tropical fruits, mango, apricot, peach, pineapple, passion fruits. It's tasty. It's strong, like the name suggests, but it goes down pretty easily. Also, I'd like to mention that you may have noticed that our Make Your Own Six-Pack cooler is MIA. It has been for the last couple weeks. It's going to return shortly, bigger and better than ever, so keep an eye out for that. It'll be in the cooler doors near the front.
Finally today, let's turn back to Seth and find out more about Saturday's Oak, Smoke, and Folk at Wooden Lakes Brewing, featuring folk music, smoked foods, and some wood-aged beers.
We got 2 artists here that one that's played, one hasn't. We're actually excited about both of them. Mike Munson is out of Minnesota. He's gonna open up. He's got some blues, and then of course Jamie Lynn over from the Black Hills. If you haven't seen her stuff, she's on YouTube. She has some albums on iTunes. She played for the Whitewall Sessions, so if you can pick up some of that. She is bringing her banjo, and we are going to play some folk music. Joe and I are planning on doing some smoking. I think I might even bring the smoker out. So. Seth is going to try his hand at some pork loin I think I'm going to do.
And, of course, some amazing beers.
I have on pretty good authority we're probably going to put Pogonophilia back on for the evening or until we run out of it or until we drink it all.
Good news indeed.
Good news indeed. We'll put some Pogonophilia back on. Again, no cover for the music. We'll do a fixed flight for those of you that want to come in and just try some of the beers, and then we'll just do a fixed menu for those of you that want to come in and do some of the food.
And that's it for this week's Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Until next time, drink local and drink responsibly. Thank you for listening to this archived edition of Beer Untapped with Perry Miller. Feel free to listen to other episodes. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about on a future show, please let us know. Thanks again.